Cameroon spends 90% of Chinese development loans on its French region. This could deepen the country's division. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing to you an article that was written by an investigative journalist. He's, of course, an international relations expert that was published on the www.theconversation.com. These are media outlets that they make sure that they carry out research on things that happen. But this one has taken the attention, and I want you to follow with me as I read this particular article. In Cameroon, violent clashes between government forces and separatists from the English-speaking parts of the country started in 2017. Since then, at least 598,000 people have had to leave their homes, and about 2 million have been left in need of humanitarian aid. The Anglophone crisis resulted from the government's repressive response to largely peaceful protesters in 2016-2017. Protesters were demanding an end to the marginalization of the Anglophone minority. Since then, Cameroon's military has been fighting separatist forces from the two Anglophone regions of the country. The marginalization continues, most recently in how the government chooses the location of Chinese-funded projects. Their allocation has been heavily skewed in favor of the French-speaking side of the country, leaving the Anglophone region marginally represented in the geography of Chinese assistance to Cameroon. I am an international relations scholar with a focus on China-Africa relations and the security implications of Chinese engagements in Africa. In recent co-authored research, we looked at geographical patterns of Chinese-funded projects in Cameroon. Cameroon depends on foreign finance for mega development projects. China is its leading source for this. Foreign aid in the form of financial grants and loans can help recipient countries to provide public infrastructure such as dams, ports, railways, and electricity. This can support the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by the United Nations member states in 2015. The research found that nearly all 51 project sites were situated in the Francophone region. This is also the region where Cameroon's long-sitting president, Paul Biya, was born. Only 4, that is 8% of the projects were located in the Anglophone region. This is despite the fact that the Anglophone region is home to at least 20% of the country's population, and it has development needs and potential similar to the Francophone region, as the country's national development strategy shows. The Chinese have pledged to support infrastructure development projects to realize Cameroon's vision of being a newly industrialized country by 2035. The finding of skewed development is important because the government in Yaoundé has tended to repress accusations of institutionalized discrimination in the country. It recently labeled Anglophone activists as terrorists who exaggerated Anglophones' feeling of frustration. The unequal use of Chinese development finance has implications for Sustainable Development Goals 7, 10, 16, which respectively deal with energy access, economic inequalities, and peace. These goals have a direct connection to Cameroon's challenges, including the Anglophone crisis. 1. Unbalanced energy access. Sustainable Development Goals number 7 is universal access to affordable and sustainable energy. This is important for lighting up homes, offices, schools, hospitals, and streets, and powering factories and entertainment. It will ultimately improve people's living conditions. Cameroon's National Development Strategy commits the government to build and repair hydroelectric dams across the country. Our study, however, found that all hydro-powered dams constructed so far with support from China are in the Francophone region. We found none located in the English-speaking regions of the country, even though those areas have a power crisis made worse by the armed conflict. The Cameroon government often blames limited finance for its failure to electrify many communities across the country and construct a dam in the Anglophone region. Cameroon has a power transmission network that distributes electricity across regions, but we found that communities close to power generating plants receive priority access to the transmission grid. This leaves communities further away vulnerable to poor supply. This has inspired a reliance on solar power system in many parts of the Anglophone region. There are reports that the government has begun negotiations with Exim Bank China for funds to construct Menchum hydroelectric dam in the Anglophone region. Meanwhile, access to affordable hydroelectric energy remains uneven in Cameroon. Economic inequalities. Sustainable Development Goal number 10 seeks in part to reduce economic inequality. The way Chinese-sponsored projects are distributed in Cameroon potentially translates to more economic opportunities for the Francophone region relative to the Anglophone region. In search of economic opportunities, Cameroon's English speakers often have to get past geographical and linguistic obstacles and a pro-Francophone bureaucracy. In my fieldwork observations and interviews at Chinese-funded project sites in the Francophone region, I found that most of the Cameroonian workers and traders were French speakers. This was the case at the Port project in Kribi and at the Kribi-Lulabe Highway project. The few Anglophone workers I spoke with reported challenges like funding recruitment trips, finding satisfactory accommodation, and integrating in host communities. Risk of ending insecurity. Cameroon was historically a peace sanctuary in Central Africa. Since 2016, the country has descended into unrest with protests, riots, crimes, violence, and repression. All this is a challenge to the the Sustainable Development Goals number 16. At the heart of the unrest is the Anglophone crisis. It is rooted in the colonization of the country, first by Germany, before its partitioning by the French and the British government. The English speakers of Cameroon are in a minority and believe they have been marginalized by the French-speaking parts. The resolution of the crisis requires equal treatment, equal access to the state, and equal opportunities for the French and English-speaking people of Cameroon. The allocation of Chinese development assistance in Cameroon marginalizes the Anglophone regions. As Cameroon pursues its development goals with assistance from China, the Anglophone region should come first in the allocation of projects. That way, Cameroon can achieve industrial emergence as a less divided country. This particular article was written by, I think I missed his name somewhere. He says he's an international relations expert. Thank you so much. And was published on the 11th of August 2024 at exactly 10:51 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, I felt it was necessary for me to bring this particular update to your knowledge, for you to know exactly how, not that you should know. Some of you have read this article, some of you know about it, but I think it's worthwhile repeating it so that people can understand what is we are not just fighting because we want to fight. We don't fight because we want to fight, or because we don't come and say this, so one your domo. We don't want to because one domo. You want even this researcher, Go for www.theconversation.com. www.theconversation.com. You will see this article today. You will read them. No be Fabiano write them. I don't want to talk for me. They like say, oh, now you don't go cook up the thing. They can't talk and not true or not be true. People then do they carry out their research. Them freelancer then they people then do they international. You know they carry out their research on things there. And everything any man write them that article. If you argue, I want to ask whether if you argue, you want arguing and waiting for me. Wait, you want argue? You don't talk and clear whole heart. When I see the way, you know, the development project them and everything. But at the end of the day, you can't discover and say Anglo food them. Now people the way they'll see the drag me for back. The Terija, Usa Ngala Jera the day, Usa Jingu Musa, Usa people the way they say they go for like parliament and all those people there. But they go represent the people there. When I see a situation where we come with these people of equal status, we be with the equal status, but today, anything where they come up for our side, go for our side, go make development. I want to ask when I say, waiting Ulaka, waiting the people of South Cameroon Laka, waiting Ambazonia and Laka. No, I want you to tell me, waiting Ambazonia and Laka. Is there anything we lack? Go for inside. That means about our natural resources then. Don't forget about like where they go borrow money because all the ones that say they go borrow money for China. So the money they borrow for China, they borrow including Ambazonia in name, but they don't develop anything for inside Ambazonia. They develop our own inside like Kobe. They go be reference hospital for Kribi, be Kribi deep sea port, be the highway, be the this, all that thing for the other side. You understand? Where did they Ulaka? And the fun of the whole show na say when they borrow this money, all the money the years they borrow, they borrow, then give collateral from Amba. The petrol way they for inside Bakassi, way they for Ndian. They give collateral on that petrol. They depend on that petrol. When I can't tell you, but we make a minute no say this. So very soon you know what happen again. They go find way to pay that money them back because we no go deal with it. We no go deal with it. We already tell the whole heart. Don't be say I say na whole heart. So I think say this thing be important. I bring up for now. Now update what they bring. I don't talk say if you want to read this article, maybe say for me they lie. Some of now this what I say I want to know small because when I lack thing go talk because if I know you lie and lie. If I began for you, don't narrate the story. When I began story form another story, if I know this way talk on true. But now article that way, person they way he carry out a research for a very long time. You see and say all the loan them, all the money we like probably borrow from China because now China be like probably highest person they borrowing money. Now the highest person that will like probably take money from me China. Any small thing na China. So they take all that money to develop their own side. Then they can't do this thing. Use our resources them. Use our team them as their collateral. Anyhow, write down the comment section. Amba mo exists. Write down today. Amba na oha. Amba mo exists. Share the video as far as you can. You want to wake up people that will sleep. Anglo food them look on to sleep. Now article this. Now the update that was him bring up una know say that the reality that a different man for different country. He don't make it research, he publish and all thing the way that now clear. You know clear boy? Right time for the I'm gonna I'll see you again for my next one.